Hold tight.
Hold on to your hats, boys.
Libos.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to another episode of the Wednesday Week.
Just what the flipping Nora are you all lot doing?
I'm still in there. I'm still right behind him.
It was just a very well thought out tactical plan by Danny.
I want to go.
I can literally feel the steam coming out of your ears.
So it's like a fun little post-game snack.
For Wednesday Week! Hello, good evening. Welcome to another episode of the Wednesday Week. This weekend, Sheffield Wednesday were in action down in Cornwall, home of pasties and Pop World. And we came away with 3 points, which was nice. Another notch in the bedpost of Danny Roll, picking up some away points. Tonight, joining me, I've got Charlie, I've got Beth, I've got Stevie, who's going to be an honorary lady tonight in acknowledgement of International Women's Day week. I'm Inigo Montoya, tu mataste mi padre y ora preparati para morir. Buenas noches, bye con Dios. Are y'all all right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello. Hi. Hi.
That was Spanish for my name's Inigo Montoya. You killed my father, now prepare to die. Those who've seen the 1984 Carrie Elwes flick, The Princess Bride, that's something that I learned. So that's nice, isn't it? Say again.
87.
It's 87. It's one of my favourite films and all. That's poor knowledge on my behalf. Stevie is going to be manning the comments this evening. Beth, how's your week been? I bet it's been busy, hasn't it?
It's always busy, but it is Women's Christmas, aka International Women's Day. So we've been rushed off our feet, but not as bad as last year. We've kind of had more fun this time, I think.
Yeah, Feliz Navidad, Beth. Fair play on Women's Christmas. So, what about you, Chelsea? Did you open any presents?
Yeah, I got. What did I get? I got nothing. Actually, and you all forgot to wish me a happy Women's
and on
Christmas
International Women's Day and all. Didn't even do it.
But we did get a lovely sunshine and 3 points, which is basically a present, isn't it? So I'm going to take that as a women's win, frankly.
I've already been corrected on the internet for saying that that Plymouth was in Cornwall. It's in Devon, so poor knowledge on my behalf again. You know, somebody will be emailing in telling me that my Spanish is crap as well, which I just won't tolerate. Stevie, you made the trip. Simon also went down there as well. I need to offer apologies to Simon as well, bless him, because the way the rotation works on this show, we ended up not having him on, and bless him, has gone all the way down there. Stevie, tell us about you went down there with your daughter. Did you go to Pop World?
I wouldn't have minded going to Pop World, to be fair. It looks like
she'd have got in, mate.
Yeah. I could have sorted her ID. She's 10 going on 24 anyway, so she'd have probably made it. To be fair. Yeah, it's been a weekend. I can imagine, but we'll get into all of that. Now, Beth, coming into a game away at Plymouth, how were you feeling? What were your pre-match thoughts? What was your, what was your inklings? Because I did the Hello from the Other Side chat with the Plymouth fan. Great bit of radio. He was a lovely guy. Also named Dan. Must be a thing. What did you feel going into it?
I feel terrible about all our games at the moment. I don't know why. So this one was no different. I've not watched loads of Argyle recently, but I obviously have seen that they're better since Big Wayne left, and I have seen them in the FA Cup, which is pretty impressive. So knowing that they were capable of that and what we're also capable of, I was feeling a bit iffy about it.
Yeah, because every time we seem to get down there, we get battered, don't we?
Yeah, we don't travel well.
We don't travel down to Devon very well. So let's get into the lineup, Stevie. Big Dom back. It was very useful, welcome addition. I forgot all my words there, fluff my lines. Big Dom back, Stevie. Talk about that.
Yeah, he came in at right back. The team. The team that was announced on Saturday, I didn't actually check it until about 2:15 because I'd forgot, and I'd been collared by a couple of lads that were talking to us about the podcast actually. So when I did check, I took one look at it, and we've got the graphic up at the moment. And if you look at that, on the surface, it's quite a difficult one potentially to have a look at who would be playing where. I didn't have Iorfa playing right back on my bingo card, if I'm honest with you, even though obviously he can do a job there. And that was actually originally the position that we signed him for. My first thought process, even though I'd had a beer or two, was that we were probably going to play 3 at the back with potentially. I was like, is it going to be one of those where we've sort of duping him and we're going to put Pato at right wing back, or we're going to get somebody else in there and Hatsus is going to go and play on the left wing back? But no, he's stuck to current form, and we've gone with a flat back 4. And I thought, we've gone horses for courses as he does at the minute in terms of his starting 11 and his substitutions. And I thought I had no complaints or worries about the lineup at all.
Svante Ingelsson in a rich vein of form, Stevie. Not too shabby. Got involved in the goals as well in terms of the assists. He's hit a rich vein, as it were. He's the player that we thought he was after that first game against Plymouth at the first game of the season.
Do you know what? And I'm sure we'll get into it as we go through the sort of the match chat, if you like. Having gone back and had a look at it, he had a better game than I gave him credit for. And I know he did well, and he was hooked at half time, and there are reasons around that. But if you go back on the day in the crowd, you're there with the euphoria of the goals going in and so forth. But not just the assists, but the way that he played those balls in was absolutely unbelievable. He was outstanding on Saturday. And, people will argue about it being Plymouth and he likes playing Plymouth, but he was excellent.
Fair enough. Now, Chaz, last time you were on the show, you were very critical of James Peel, but let's get into the game, because the first highlight, as it were, of the game was a save from JB.
He was brilliant. He was really wonderful. Absolutely fantastic. And clip that. No, you did. It was really good. I must admit, it was those first few minutes as well where my head had gone a little bit. I know, and I should have realized that I was watching us the other way around.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching a team start well, which ultimately surely must mean, therefore, that things don't go your way. Because mostly we've watched us start well and things not go our way. So the fact that things looked a little bit hairy, I must admit I was a little bit concerned. But yeah, I pulled off a really lovely save. And then I think pretty much from that point on, was it maybe like the first 10 minutes? Maybe it wasn't even as long as that in the first half, where it was all a bit them. From that point on, defensively across the board, I thought it looked great. I really I wasn't worried at all. I felt very safe with young James Beadle.
Just on the screen now, we've got a comment there from Stu Williams. We've got beep 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 beep. Is that Chaz reversing, or are you still in the JB out camp? I've stitched you up. She didn't say that. But I did.
Honestly, no. I thought you did great, and I think I think Roll kind of he alluded to something that was almost a little bit Michael Owen, but I think I knew what you meant. That kind of, had they scored a goal, it would have been a different game kind of thing. It's but I think he was absolutely right that if in those 10 minutes, in that kind of period, that burst that they had they managed to scab a goal back, I think our heads would have completely gone. I think it would have totally changed things. But because we were able to kind of withstand the onslaught and then do the unthinkable and actually score first, it was and I think, and all credit to Beadle for that. He was great. I'm a big fan. I love.
Do you want me to clip that this week?
Clip that. Yes, please.
Beth, listen. The next bit after that onslaught might be overseen a little bit. We went in front. Shock horror. Let's all slow down. Let's all have a minute. We went in front first, and usually when we do that, I tend to go, oh well, we're all right then. You know what I mean? I don't know why. I don't know what sort of. How I've got that confidence, but there's just an element of, we've got in front, so that means we must be taking all 3 points home. Svante once again down the left hand side. Beauty of another, and I think I said this last week or the other week, a dinky do cross into the box once again. It was virtually a carbon copy of what he did against I want to say Sunderland, where he dispossessed their fullback and got it in. He's doing all right, isn't he?
I really like it. I think I tweeted this, that it's what is his vendetta with Argyle? Because he doesn't play like that against anyone else. Really impressive game from him. That assist is crazy. I watched the replay of it so many times where he just kind of does a little keepy uppy and almost volleys it. And then credit as well to Gassama in that moment, because I don't know if we've seen him be that kind of player who's kind of box crashing yet. I think that kind of development of him who is having this box presence is something we weren't seeing even at the start of this season. So credit to him for that kind of development there as well. I thought it was really, I know it's an own goal, but it's not really, is it?
Is it? I don't know. I think it was harsh. I think they were both there, and I think it was going in anyway. I think they've robbed him of a goal there, personally.
Well, Sheffield Wednesday did put out the Gassama goal celebration artwork, so you know what I mean. So who am I to argue with the internet? They're always right. What's the matter with you, Stevie? Next bit. Let me just cut to my notes. I've made notes, kids. I don't know if you know this, but I do actually make notes.
Me too.
Look
Me three.
The size of your A4 page just made mine look quite insignificant, and I'm very upset about it, Beth. But I'm not going to feel emasculated here. Next one, I've got one here. Sheffield Wednesday. So there was a lovely little back and forth, lovely Stevie, bit of intricate play on the edge of the box. It was nice to see Sheffield Wednesday play some football like that, and then Shea just had a dig. And all right, it went wide, but it's nice to see football like that. You know what I mean? Because I think we discussed it before about we just don't have a pop.
Yeah, I'd agree. And I'm going to make it a full house and talk about the fact that I've made notes as well. Look at
Chaz, you're just winging it, babe. You're just winging it.
Honestly, just making it up to go along.
But no, the phase that you're talking about was really sort of intricate, like you've said, and it was impressive. Everything was tight and short, sharp passes. And it's the movement off the ball, isn't it, in those situations? And I think, when we talk about the frustrations of us not getting a shot off, we still see that movement. But on this sort of occasion, these moments on Saturday, we were actually getting into a situation where we were able to get that end product away. And the moment in question, I think it was Ingleson again, wasn't it? Off Windass and Gassama sort of played the ball in between them. And it's broken to Ingleson, who's found himself out on the right-hand side, who's just sort of slid Charles in. And it was... I think he's probably going to be disappointed that he's not hit the target there. No complaints.
Yeah, it wasn't a full chance, but I won't go as far as calling it a half chance either. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I feel like there's some pressure there to at least hit the fucking target. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But it was a great bit of play. And at that point, 25, 26 minutes into the game, I think it was, our tails are up. And you could feel after that start in the game where Plymouth were, on top, we've gone up down the other end and scored. You could feel it sort of emphasised a shift in momentum, if you like, midway through the first half. Absolutely.
Now, let's go to some comments, Steve, as well, before I talk to Charlie about Callum Patterson, because we can all have a minute when she gets started.
So we've they keep coming round. We've got Glenn, our old friend from the Sky Blue Hub, who
Here he is.
He's wished us well in the derby. He's left us a couple of comments, actually. Glenn says, good luck in the derby versus Wilder's Lot. Having previously told us that he'd like us to take some points off Norwich, please, because now Coventry are all of a sudden the best team in the league because they've won 9 out of 10, and Frank Lampard's the second coming of Jose Mourinho, or whoever you want to call it. I'm not bitter or envious about the run that they're on at all at the minute, to be fair. I don't know about anybody else. And we've had Craig Hayward, who's been backing us up in terms of our sort of praise of Ingleson. He's had some really good glimpses of a really talented player in there, and Borough springs to mind, obviously, off the back of the Plymouth games as well, coming on Boxing Day and sort of changing the game when we're 3-0 down. And a nice little one from Lewis Jordan, who said that win at the weekend was that good. My eldest, at 3 years old, was singing 3 points away, ole, ole, going into nursery this morning. And that was his proud dad moment. I love that. I absolutely love that.
I love it if they just went in.
If he's walking in doing that as well.
Doing the wrist flick, I'd really enjoy that. That'd make my day. If you want to tweet us a video of the young and doing it, I wouldn't be averse to that. Just because it might be a shit week for Sheffield Wednesday. We don't know, right? So if you want to send it me next week, if I'm crying in my beer, we'll keep it over the pocket. Now Plymouth offered very little, Chaz. Not a lot going forward. There was some weird back heel that they did into the box, and he tried some ridiculous long range header. Not great. You know what I mean? I think Plymouth are in trouble. And once again, we come away with that conundrum of did we play well, or were they just really that trash? However, let's move on to the next point, Chaz. Let's move on to the next. Go on. He started it, Chaz. He started the move.
He started it. Do you know what's so great is it's the second time that he's done that where he kind of passes it to himself via another person. So he's like, hang on to that for me a sec, gets in the right place, and then it was just so good. And it's nice to see him scoring goals like that, like proof that he's not just like, oh, he's a big shithouse and he can get his head behind the ball. Just like it was a really good tactical goal. I loved it, and I'm so happy for him. It's brilliant to see him scoring, and it sounds stupid. It was the exact right time to score a second goal. Like it absolutely was, because we dominated since our goal. And it's always those moments where you're like, and before we go into the second half, we need a nice little sweetener just to keep it, because otherwise it's 1-0 and da-da-da. And they're more than capable of scabbing a little one. And I think you're right. I think not as much as on opening day when they were absolutely diabolical. And if anything, it's testament to us being maybe not the team we think we are, that we didn't get 10, let alone 4. But I do think it was 6-1 and after. I do think we were playing really well. It wasn't just that they were a bit barbara. Like I do think that we were playing really well. And it was just a lovely goal. A lovely goal, Callum.
I don't think I've heard the term barbara in 30 years.
Oh, can I just say, sorry, go on. I'm an amateur. I don't know when to wait my turn. Yeah, I just on Patterson, like. That is one of the Danny calls this season that I've been like, yeah, that is bang on to start Pato in that game. Like this is a very different, not super different, but that is a new look Plymouth backline to what we played at Hillsborough. I was very scared thinking of Katic and Plezaguelo and Talavirov being like, they're absolute units. And if we don't start the right guy up top, it's going to be like GBH, but Danny had the clarity to kind of like fight fire with fire and say, if you've got big guys, I've got a big crazy guy as well. So it was just perfect for Patterson, and yeah, bit of credit there if we're kind of on our redemption arcs today.
I've been unkind to Pato by calling him Ati New You 2.0. And
I also like New You, sorry.
And to be fair, that's not a dig as far as 50% of the the Sheffield Wednesday fraternity. They either loved him or they hated him, didn't they? You know what I mean? So Atinuvio 2.0, but in a good way. Actually, Stevie, I'm gonna skip ahead because there was some comments about Pato's goal that I feel like we should get out there, because it's nice to say something nice about Pato, and I also enjoy you reading them out.
In my best teacher voice. We've had Tal on, who says, I think Pato's goal might have been the only time I've seen a Wednesday player actually be in the centre of the box to receive a cross. We love to see it. And he was. And just on that, as much as a battering ram that we say he is, and we're going to match up, with a crazy player that's going to go and sort of go against their big centre-half units, if you watch the build-up to the play, he flicks it on. He's the person who receives the ball in play and then moves it on, and then just runs off. So, it shows that there was a sort of a finesse to his game on Saturday as well, which is something that I think we've all been critical of, sort of not recognising necessarily, not necessarily saying that we're going to be his critic, but we say that he's a little bit one-dimensional at times. I think he showed the opposite on Saturday. I thought it was very, very good. We've had Sheff come on, who says, lovely finish, Pato, calm as you like, passed it in like Jimmy Greaves.
Yeah.
And finally... Warren Kinley, is it bad that I think Pato is our best forward option at the moment?
Hard agree. Sorry.
I think he's great.
Well, to be fair, I Beth, you weren't here last week, and I was aghast that Callum Patterson in the game we played before lifted his shirt up and had a six-pack. So in my head now, he's an absolute fitness machine. That he's now grey-haired, sexy man. But there's a lot of digs there, Stevie, about Pato playing for what Charlie would call contractitis.
Yeah, Matt Strickland has come on with that. Charlie's latest nomination or application for the Oxford English Dictionary for next year. Contractitis is what we've got in this year. So see benchitis and raise it one. Is Pato playing for a new contract? That's backed up with Craig Haywood as well, who's sort of questioning the same thing. We've also had Sharman's been on. Forgive me, I'm assuming that we're talking Pato here. If he's on form, keep playing him. And then Mad Ward, Pato, the king of shithousery, and he scores 2. Who would have thought it?
Who'd have thunk it? Who'd have thunk it? Now, Beth, I want you to talk about a goal, because Jeddy Gassama, before our very eyes, I think so. I saw somebody post on X. was we're watching Jeddy Kasama become a hell of a player. We're watching a young man mature here. And I think I wouldn't go as far as saying long gone are the days where he keeps hold of it too long, but it's nice to have an exciting player such as that. The ball came from Windass, didn't it? Yeah. And his first touch was trash, and then still managed to do what Jeddy does, right?
Yeah, it was amazing. And I keep thinking of that Rio Ferdinand clip where we're just going like, just enjoy it, man. Like, that's totally where I'm at with Kasama at the moment. It's just, I'm going to leave all my kind of tainted Wednesday negative thoughts behind me and just think, how have we found this guy and how is he so good? Yeah, just again, and that was another moment of him kind of showing something a bit different. He was obviously kind of box crashing and being that presence in the box for his first goal, but then for his second or first, if you're going to be really pedantic about it, that kind of strength and again box crashing, it was a really nice aspect of his game that I'm just like, wow, you can do everything. Like, we'll play him at centre half next week and he'll be sound. Like,
yeah, a lot of people. The photo of him sat on the sponsor boards, like Jan Paveda. A lot of people seem to comment on the size of his arms. He's been in the gym and all, hasn't he?
Humongous.
Yeah, nobody wants to go back. His lovely little smile.
Yeah. He's having the best time. Now, as a little treat to some of the listeners and the viewers out there, the voyeurs, Ben's watching tonight. Now, Ben was the guy that kept tweeting. I think it was something like 56 days, tweeting about Ike Okpo and can you free him, and posted a different picture of Ike Okpo every day. Cheers for that, Ben. But he's trying it again, isn't he, Stevie? He's giving it another bash.
Yes, he's been on with his side eyes. Day 3, Jeddy Kasama, New Deal. Ben, I'm here to tell you, if he ends up signing a contract and goes away that Ugbo's gone, I'm laying all the blame on you. And you must cease and desist.
Yeah, you're
all campaigns for the rest of time. He said it was 71 days to Bernard. It was.
Who's now injured, Ben? Oh. Thanks, Ben.
Thanks, Ben. I love you. Get that Kasama stuff going again. Get it sorted out.
It's like Alan Partridge, right? He did 71 for Bernard. He did 50 odd for Ike Okpo, and now he needs to finish on a positive, just so he can have a positive. You know what I mean? There's an element of that. He needs to get 2-1 in front, because at the minute, the Lord giveth and the Lord hath doth taken away. Lewis has put a comment there. Chaz, you might be able to shine a bit of light on it. Stevie, what is it?
Can anyone work out what Pato's celebration was all about on Saturday?
Anybody any ideas?
He's giving it one of these with it was almost like he was handcuffed. He's run over to the subs, and they've all had a little bit of a ring of roses and jumped up and down sort of thing.
No, it's not any young people vernacular I'm aware of as a very, very young person. It's not come across my my vision. But yeah, I don't think I noticed that. I think I just assumed. My brain just filled the gaps in and assumed he'd just done his Pato celebration. I don't think I noticed him doing a secret symbol to somebody. No. Ooh.
No idea. And then towards the back end of the game, Chaz, there was I think their defender played through Svanti, who I kind of really wanted to get a goal. I don't know why, but he kind of played Svanti in, and it was a decent save from their keeper, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and I think there was a few like towards the end, like, you know, we were very much on top, but there were a few shots that went sort of begging that perhaps if we'd not been on top, you'd have been like, Jesus Christ. I mean, you know, I hate to criticize him, but my boy Smudge, who's obviously just recovering from being sick, like he's obviously just recovering from a bit of an illness, so we're giving him a lot of slack. But certainly the first of his 2 chances when he was practically 1-on-1 with the keeper, like, would have been nice to have seen him like chip the keeper and get that in. But it was all right because we already had 3 goals at that point. It was okay.
All right. Didn't even need it.
It was Michael Smith, wasn't it?
Yeah. But again, like, you know, it's similar to what we have been saying. At least he had a shot, right place, right time. Because
Sorry,
the whole
was
thing
it not
is
Svanti? Was it Michael Smith that did that last?
Yeah,
I didn't remember.
Svanti got hooked
bypass
at
what you
half
said.
time.
Yeah, of course he did. Yeah, because he
Hang
got
on a
took
minute.
off, didn't he?
Hang on a minute.
Fired.
Paul came on, who did really well.
I've actually written Smith and said Svanti. So well done, Fudge.
I'm always this close from mentioning Michael Smith again. Like I'm always a good three sentences away at any given point from bringing him up.
I've even written your name next to that because I thought, because when it's like Pato and Smudge, I'm like, yeah, Chaz will talk about that. That'll kill a good minute. You know what I mean? And then like completely give you the wrong player. So that's nice.
Sorry.
Imagine if a female did that on the internet. Can you imagine?
Disgusting.
Can you imagine?
Cancel Fudge. # cancel Fudge. But yeah, it was nice to see us because I think that's the thing about shots that don't hit is that's okay as long as you've had loads of shots, if that makes sense. Like the fact that we'd scored 3 goals, the fact that we've been taking those chances, that there's still going to be moments in the game where you're like, oh, isn't that a shame that Charles went wide? Oh, isn't it a shame that Smudge couldn't just be just on that header a bit more? So it was nice to see us look goal hungry, even if not all of them were successful. And I thought it was great. Yeah, it was just really, it was a really enjoyable game, particularly in the second half, because it was very obvious that they weren't going to get back into it then with us getting a 3rd goal. So it actually felt comfortable. And normally you never, even 3-0 up, you normally never say that, but it really did feel like, oh, this is just, let's just watch and enjoy this. This is lovely. And yeah, it was just very good. And
to be fair, and go on, Beth.
I was gonna say, is it Mary Poppins or Nanny McPhee thing where it's like he's there when you need him, but not there when you want him. Like we didn't need Michael Smith in that moment, so it didn't go in.
So he didn't. Yeah,
he'd have done it. Like
that's so true. We wanted it, but we didn't need it. Yeah, exactly that. Exactly.
Sorry,
that.
was that a Nanny McPhee reference we've just done there? I'm too old, Bethany. I don't know anymore. Young people things evade me now. I'm of a certain age where I make a noise when I stand up and sit down nowadays, and I don't understand what these celebrations are. I don't understand football anymore.
I hope it's nothing bad. I'm just like doing it like it could mean anything, couldn't it? Could be some awful thing, and I'm just like
they were talking about having a half-time show at the World Cup final, and I sat there going, what a bloody terrible idea. And then I realised I don't really give a shit because I'll just go and get a pint like I normally do. Like, you know what I mean? But why am I so angry about it? And all of a sudden, I've just realised that I've now got to Wendy Dar age. And I'm going to have to do so. I'm going to put myself on some courses or some shit. You know what I mean? try and get myself up and about. Stevie, you're the stats guy. Got some stats for you. I feel like they don't really tell a great picture there. Like they're kind of down the middle, I think.
Yeah, I had a quick look as well, and it's the passing and the possession. I suppose the only thing that we can say, and for the benefits of people that are listening rather than watching, the possession stats were 50.4 to us and 49.6 to Plymouth. And we made 7 more passes. I think I've seen a metric or a stat somewhere that they actually had more touches of the ball. And the passing accuracy was pretty negligible. You'll interpret data as you will. And I am choosing tonight on Monday after a 3-0 win to say that when we had the ball, we made better off the ball than they did when they had the ball, and those touches were ineffective. See games where teams will sit back and let people play. It did feel even at times. I think that you could argue the fact that by the sort of 60th minute, the game was dead and we were sat in and we were allowing them to play in areas that weren't going to hurt us. We took Bannon off early, we took Pato off, we brought Kabatsky on, and that allowed us to sort of rotate a little bit. And that, may have impacted on the stats that we're looking at there. However, it didn't feel that even a game if you try and marry up the performance and the feel in the ground on Saturday to the stats that we're looking at there.
Absolutely. Would you feel like Plymouth would feel aggrieved, Bethany, looking at those stats? Like, you know what I mean? Do you feel like they look at those stats and go, well, we didn't play that bad by Babber? That's how they speak down there. I don't know if you know.
I'm not sure, like to an eye test, that looks really wrong.
Yeah, I thought we battered them.
Yeah.
No, I'm really shocked to see that. No, they were just. If anything, I'd feel more aggrieved looking at the stats to be like,
that's the stats. I'm more pissed off at the stats.
Like,
I was watching I could watch a couple actually because I always think for away games, you always get better footage of their vlogs, so like Plymouth vloggers, because you get a better view, and like they were singing like we've lost the ball, we've got the ball, we've lost the ball, I think like really like most of the second half they were like, this is absolutely diabolical, and so yeah, I really do feel like this is just further proof that stats don't mean nothing. Stats don't mean nothing.
Yeah,
because
that
looks like
XG
such an
guys.
even game. If you told me that was like a 2-2 game or a 2-1 game, you go, yeah, you would not look at that and think that was a 3-0. Battering's maybe a bit far, but mostly it was kind of a battering. It really, I think they would have felt battered. So yeah, I just think that's interesting. Like they clearly were like booing at halftime, booing even more at the end. Like they were like, we have just watched garbage from our team, and obviously from our perspective, we just watched a really good game. So yeah, I'm aggrieved by the stats. I'm aggrieved. I wanted a longer bar for us on every. I wanted to be like, yeah, stats don't lie. Stats don't lie. Stats do lie. That's rubbish.
Yeah. Unlike Shakira's hips. Now, at this point, ladies and gents, I would be. That's all I've got, kids. Right, it's been a long old day. Right? I've had a lazy day. Right, so normally through the when I announce the advert break, I will go into some diatribe about people trying to sell you things as we career more into a commercial capitalist world. However, what I'm going to do is give you a bit of a treat. Now, my apologies to the people listening to this in the car, but this is more of a visual aid. Now, I don't know if you remember back the other season, we've had videos of Ash dancing in the stands to Daddy Cool. We've had Charlie's Scrappy Doo after an equaliser from Michael Smith in a 2-2 draw against Norwich. We've now got Simon, who clearly was 3 sheets to the wind at some point during the day. And I'm going to go into the advert break, giving you this one. Enjoy, kids. Yes. On Inside Match Day, if you do take a look, there's Simon there cheering the Tequila Gasama song. Big fan of that. Have you got any of those videos of you circling around, Bethany?
Not that I know of, which is how I'd like to keep it.
I think Holly got one of me in Pop World in Portsmouth doing, and I will double down. I didn't drop a damn beat to NSYNC in Pop World.
Bye.
Yeah,
I remember it well.
Yes.
And that got played on the week that I wasn't on as well. So jot that down. This is going to be a fun game for the rest of the season. So listen, Bethany, we got through the game. It's been a big week. You mentioned earlier it's Women's Christmas. I assume the women's supporters group have done some bits and had some fun. Tell us all about it.
Yeah, we've kind of toned down after last year because that was a bit much. We still kind of had a nice little International Women's Day celebration. Emma and I had a bit of a roundtable discussion with the new Sheffield Wednesday women's team supporters group. So supporters of their women's team, not like us, who are women who support Wednesday. So we had a lovely roundtable discussion with them at Bramall Lane, unfortunately, but at least one team in blue and white can have a good day out there this season. That was lovely. We were also part of the FSA's Women in the Men's game.
Yeah, I did see that get mentioned. That's not too shabby.
It was lovely. So me and Emma did a speech about setting up a supporters group and kind of the obstacles that we've had and the lessons we've learned. Lauren also did a kind of roundtable discussion with Julie-Anne Thomas from Fulham Ladies about motherhood in football and kind of facilities and barriers for women who are mothers in football. We also found out at the end of the day that our little admin team, so me, Emma and Lauren, were all shortlisted for the Jackie Sheard Memorial Award, which was amazing. Jackie Sheard did a lot of constitutional work for Supporters Direct, which eventually merged with the Football Supporters Federation to become the FSA. Wow. And she unfortunately passed away a few years ago, so they now have a lovely award in her memory for women who are making outstanding contributions to football, the football supporters movement. We've not had a designated fixture this year, but we've been lucky through my kind of Her Game 2 involvement to get funding from EA Sports. So for our, I'm going to launch it. So I confirmed it today that for our game against Oxford United in April, we'll have the funding to take 4 women to their first ever football game.
Oh my gosh!
So I'm gassed. It's really lovely.
I tell you what. I tell you what. Let's. Ash is going to kill me for this. So you've had funding for 4 tickets.
Yes.
And you've got access to people to give those tickets to.
We will do.
Okay.
My niche interest in local Facebook groups is finally going to come in handy.
I'll tell you what, Ash is going to kick me head in, but let's double it. Let's Stevie, we can do that, can't we? We can give another 4 in, can't we? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, guys, I did
That's
enough cry at
what-
this yesterday.
Can I? I'm sorry to cut you off, and I'll shut up in a sec. But the way that you've just dropped in that award nomination,
come on now,
just a little thing,
So
just thought I'd let you know that we've just done that, and that is absolutely incredible. And you know, as a big hairy man, to know that you guys are getting out there and getting the recognition that you deserve, and for all the work that we see, and we know that we'll get sort of other podcasts, jokes aside, Coventry drop in, Plymouth might be watching tonight. You'll always get the Burnley. We've probably got Unitedites that are watching. They aren't exposed to our little microcosm or our ecosystem, if you like, of Sheff Wed Wednesday on social medias and the supporters groups. I love it as a father of girls. I love the fact that there are people out there that are championing what you know, the championing the cause for girls and females of all ages. People will know that my sister was a footballer and played at a very high standard, technically was significantly better than me, and would have gone and played at a higher level in the game if the game was where it was now, as it was when she was playing, sort of thing. She didn't get the recognition that she deserved, and it makes me very proud. I'm a sister-in-law as well, by the way, but it makes me very proud that this cause is out there and you're getting the recognition, and the movement that is taking place at the moment is absolutely phenomenal. That was a little bit longer than I wanted to say, but thank you so much for everything you're doing, guys. It's great.
It's all right.
Like yesterday, I mean, a year ago, we were a baby and we were kind of looking up to Flumleys for all of our help and support. We've been able to start paying that forward to girls at Shrewsbury, to girls at Bristol City, and we were kind of sowing the seed yesterday. There was people from Oxford, Merthyr Town, kind of clubs across the pyramid. I said as a joke when we won the FSA Fans for Diversity Award, I was like, the goal is to get every single member of the 92 women's sports groups. It's the best thing ever. But we're kind of getting closer now. We're on our way.
Wow, that's genuinely impressive. And you know, just to wrap this up, there's been a point where, like I said to you, I'm a middle-aged man nowadays, and I start becoming quite agnostic about a lot of things. And I think what the WSG have done, and I think it's done it for a lot of people, especially on what can be an absolute toilet in Twitter X. I feel like there's always those inevitable comments that go, why are you creating a division? Why are you know what I mean? It's not like if they see you guys having a beer in a pub, they can't come over and say hello. They just want to share some stories and share some experiences and make it a safer space, because even when you were speaking 5 minutes ago, Beth, talking about Lauren and motherhood in football, I'll be honest, that is something I have genuinely never considered might be an issue in my life. And the fact that, because I'm a middle-aged bloke, right? You know what I mean? And there are things that are getting a shone a light on that I'd not even knew happened. Not that I previously considered. I just genuinely didn't know that this type of thing would be an issue for different types of people. And I think the work you're doing is absolutely incredible. And I wanted to do a big shout out to Holly, to Charlie, to yourself, to Laura that's been on the show, Vic, and all those people that have come on here and they've spoken in great depth about some of the experiences they've had. And it is right. And I get it, fellas. I get it, lads. We get accused of being something different every week. We do. And I sometimes feel that it can be exhausting, and you can see it on social media, but that's the timelines that are geared towards you. And what they're trying to do, they're not trying to create division. They want to be part of the gang, and they don't want a gang. They want it to be for everybody. And if it doesn't apply to you, then you don't have to be angry about it, dads. You know what I mean? And that's what it is. And if you can just take yourself out of something, you don't have to be in one camp or another. You can go, there are some pricks out there. Let's well, fuck them. Do you know what I mean? And I know that was quite wordy, and then I end up just swearing. But it's such a nuanced argument, and it's so difficult, which is why I'm glad you're on here tonight talking about it. And I really appreciate what you do. And there are going to be a load of Wendy dads who are literal dads that have got daughters like Stevie, like Stu that commented earlier. That all of a sudden they're things he'd never considered. That all of a sudden are now something that you guys have shone a light on. And fair play to you doing that. And grumble, boobs joke, hot wings, titties. You know what I
mean? Thank you. As I think Holly said perfectly on this very podcast, I just want to have as crap football opinions as all the blokes and get away with it. So it's that. And also on the Motherhood Report, it's called You're Not Welcome Anymore by Fulham Lilies. It's available for free on the internet. Just download the PDF. It's incredible. It looks like a government report. Like, they've absolutely smashed it. If I can find a way of maybe putting it in the chat or something, I will, because it's class. And yeah,
by all means,
about what we're doing.
I'm getting dug out now. I was trying to be sincere, and I tried to make a joke out at the end. That's my name's Dan Fudge, and I make uncomfortable jokes when I talk myself into a hole.
It was me. Just as I went to click the comment that's on the screen now, it popped up. So Matt said, Dan being sincere. Matt is in the last man standing group, so I know it's all taken with a pinch of salt. And I, to an extent, agree with the fact that he's given us one of the most hearty diatribes that he's given us all year, and then spoiled it by F-bombing at the end. If I was not manning the comments tonight, this wouldn't go up, because Ash is much more humble than I am. But, a little bit of self-aggrandizing support from people out there. Martin Bieber just saying, well said, all of you. That's why this pod stands above every other.
Ash would have never put that out.
He'd never put it up. And I know for a fact he's probably watching this at home now going, Steve, you absolutely
wincing he is.
He's going to hate me. I don't want to pick my phone up at 9 o'clock, but I'm going to put it up there. I'm very proud of what we do. I'm very proud of him and the stuff that he does and the things that we've got going on. I'm very proud of our community initiative. We're not just a podcast anymore. And I think that's the thing that we need to recognise. What we're trying to do is build a community where we can bring everybody together, be inclusive. We've got strong ties with other supporters groups now. We are champions and advocates of Rainbow Owls as well as the WSG. And I'm really, really proud of everything that we do as a podcast.
Well said. Well said. Let's get back to the nonsense. Let's start talking about football while I start taking some screen grabs of this chat. Because for a meeting I'll probably have at HR tomorrow. Listen, put your fingers in your ears. It's time now for Hot Topic. Yes, it's today's hot topic. We're going to talk in great length about one specific topic. Make sure you are getting them in the comments. And if you're watching this on repeat, if you're watching this on +1, they say that I'm dancing on ice, please, by all means, get involved in the conversation there as well. While Stevie presses some buttons on the way we look, that's quite fun, mate. You're doing a great job. I'll sort it. It's just this button here, mate. It sorts it right out for you. You're all right. Hot topic, boys and girls. Should Danny rest Shay Charles against Norwich City tomorrow night as we're recording this? Now, John was the person that floated this in the chat, and I responded with, "Are you on crack?" I think I said, "Are you on crack? What in the crack on toast?" I think I suggested. And then, I was at work. I didn't know what was happening. And what I thought was, that's ridiculous. Why is he going to rest Shay Charles? He's like one of our best players, and we could do with as many points as possible. Do we? And the more I've thought about it, it's not the worst thing that anybody's floated. Chaz,
no.
I'll come to you first. Is John on crack?
He's on crack.
Cool.
John, I love you. I love you to bits. But yeah. And also, no, I understand the logic. I understand the logic of thinking about the derby and wanting to manage that. But we should never, ever, ever, this is my opinion, think about the derby as more than what it is. You should be looking at it as what it is on paper, which is actually us playing a team that's like at the top of the table. So you know it's going to be challenging, you know it's going to be X, Y, and Z. But what you also need to think about is it's every game is a big game. Every game is important. You want to win every game. Trying to be like, oh, winning the derby or not losing the derby is the most important thing is crazy. Could he maybe tactically sub him in the 70-odd minute if we were 2 goals up? Yeah, maybe. That you're not against. That's just smart game management for someone that's on that many yellows anyway. Not playing him so we can what? We get battered at the next game, and then it's like, oh well, luckily we saved him for the derby, where statistically we're probably going to get battered. Is crazy. I'd rather, if we're going to lose the derby or we're going to get battered at the derby or not win, I'd at least rather be like, well, at least we went into it based on 3 points in our previous game. Absolutely should not rest him. Also, who the hell plays in his place? Who?
Well, somebody did mention that
secret midfielder
Armstrong
I forgot about?
is injured.
Yeah. Badly injured by all accounts. He's not just pulled something, has he? He's like, it's not good.
A couple of people commenting, just Blades fans there on Facebook, and Stevie's popping the comments up. Cheers, Steve, doing a great job, mate. And you're on mute now as well, so that's nice.
I'm having an absolute shocker, honestly. I'm going to stop pressing things. I give up.
I'm getting buttons to press, and it's all. This is live television, ladies and gents. I feel like Ant and Deck, both of them, but both during Wonky Donkey. Beth,
too many people are commenting.
Beth, where do you sit on Shay Charles playing tomorrow night?
So you can only play what's in front of you, but if the guy behind Norwich is like this huge, snarling, grizzly ogre, of course I'm going to think about that over there. Like Danny, I wrote a column. I'm also a football writer. I wrote my column for football.
God, get them all in. Get them all in. Get all the plugs in, Beth.
Nothing left to play for this season. We've fallen completely away from the playoffs. That is not happening. It's not mathematically impossible, but it's vibes impossible. And the derby is the last game that we have left that is a big game. And Danny said a few weeks ago, just before the Sunderland game, that our goals for the rest of this season are get 50 points and win a big game. That is our only big game we've got left. It's the last kind of chance we've got this season. I'm not going to say I'm going to get bored, but like, it's the last chance for something like really cool to happen this season. Like, we're not going to make the playoffs. We're not going to go down, but we have got a derby at home for the first time in 7 years. And I'm sorry, I didn't care about Norwich away. I'd love for us to have the best crack at the derby that we can possibly can. But I know Danny is a very play what's in front of us, very pragmatic, very let's just get on and do this kind of guy. So I think Charles will play, but I don't think he should.
Oh, I tell you what. So it's 1-1, Stevie. It's 1-1. Where do you sit on it? Because I must admit, like, to give you a bit of thinking time, I'm in Beth's camp. Who gives a shit about Norwich? You know what I mean? We're not going up. We're not going down. Let's just go and kick as much bells out of the other side on Sunday. You know what I mean? Let's just, and the best opportunity we've got that is the guy that's been doing it to every other team all season, right? Stevie, go on. Go on. Charlie's wrong. Everybody's angry. Everybody's angry in the comments.
The comments
Clip
are
that.
angry.
Clip that.
I gave John, when you posted in the comments on Saturday night, and I think it was Saturday night, wasn't it? I was probably more incandescent with it all than you were, if I'm honest
Crack.
with you.
He's on crack.
I was getting after, what are you talking about, etc., etc. And I went after him, and I thought I was a little bit harsh on reflection. However, I've gone backwards and forwards with it, and I'm probably more divided on this than I have been anything else this season. And as I'm sitting here now thinking, I've gone back again, and I probably would rest him now. Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
I was Team Charlie. I was right. No, he played.
I was the same.
Charlie's made the point that we maybe drag him after 70 minutes. Let's be right. He could go in there, and you don't know what Norwich are going to do. They might go out there and try and wind him up. Let's be right. On paper, Norwich are a competitor for a playoff spot, as are we. I'm looking at the table now. They're 1 point in front of us. If we're in that team, and I'm not saying it's a realistic one, but there are aspirations there to get into the playoffs. Norwich are going to do whatever they can to distance themselves from us. They will want to win the game tomorrow night. They will, 100%. However, I've seen Norwich, and I know that I believe they've got Sargent back. He's been out for a while. He's going to be a threat tomorrow night. He's going to be a huge threat. Charles won't differentiate between whether or not Sargent has an impact on the game. That's going to be for the lads at the back. So you're relying on Ihekwe, Lowe, Iorfa, Hatsusa, Beadle. In the middle, if we don't play Charles, I'd like to think, even though we haven't got Armstrong that can come in, I'd like to think that there'll be a renaissance from a Chalobah potentially who'll go in there and maybe shore things up. And is it a time to give him an opportunity to go in there and say, right, now's your time? And maybe, you talk him up and they're preparing in a way to say, it's a big game. You go and prove that you're a big game player, which he can do, and he has done. I know it hasn't necessarily worked out for him. I'd like to see Chalobah go in there now, I think, and potentially him and Bannon in the middle. He had a bit of a run. I think he got sort of half an hour or so on Saturday, maybe to just get some minutes in his legs. We rested Bannon. We brought Patterson off. I'd suspect that we're probably going to start Smith tomorrow night, just because he hasn't been playing, and just give him maybe 45 minutes. And I know that goes against everything else that we've been doing in terms of a format. But I just think there might be a little bit of reverse psychology there. But yeah, I've come down the other side, and I think we need to rest it.
Chaz, just before you do, I just want to pull two things here. One, I've stitched you up on the internet because I was well in your camp 2 days ago, and two,
we all were.
You can't see. I don't know if you guys can see the comments that Stevie's about to put up, but everybody's just been accusing Stevie of going, here we go, he's going to say LP2 can play there, LP2 is going to play there, and then he's dropped in a Chalobah. What about that for some life-changing radio, ladies and gents? Go on, Chaz.
Can I just say, I do not disagree that Norwich are going to be trying really hard to win the game. I do disagree that they are going to give a rat shit about whether one of our specific players gets another yellow card, because what difference does it make really to us? Like United are already way past them. I don't think they're going to try and necessarily wind him up. Having said that, him being on a yellow, him not getting a yellow makes him more vulnerable. But I don't think they would specifically try and wind him up to get him a yellow.
My response to that is I'm not saying they're thinking about, oh, let's get him out for the derby. I think they're thinking, right, there's 1 point between us and Sheffield Wednesday, and if we can get him a 2-game suspension, that's going to make their life a lot more challenging, a lot more difficult when they've got this team coming up and that team coming up.
We could have done with a rat shitometer on that one.
I'd be flattered if Norwich thought we were contenders to potentially get into the top 6. I'd be like, oh, you think that all that's standing in our way is whether Charles is out for a couple of games, rather than the fact that we absolutely cannot hold to a lead 90% of the time. But yeah, I mean, I think for me, I would rather see us treat every game equally. You get people that I think derby makes us crazy, and to be fair, we haven't had derbies in a while, and I think that's maybe what it is. It's derby fever. I would take a point right now, take a point right tomorrow, I'd take a point in a week, I'd take a point, a yummy point would be amazing, and I would not sacrifice 3 points against Norwich for it, though. I wouldn't.
Clip that.
I'm crazy.
That. Okay, Stevie, let's give the great unwashed the last word on this. There's a fair few to get there. I'm gonna have a drink.
Yeah. While I get through these 25 comments, you can shut your mouth for a bit. Matt Strickland, now Armstrong is out for a while, I'd say yes. Mike Crawshaw, yes, I don't want him suspended for Sunday if he gets a booking. Lewis Jordan, rest Charles, yes. It's too much of a Wednesday thing to do for him to go get a yellow against Norwich.
Does nobody agree with me? It's not a single person.
Hold the line, caller. This is the first time I disagree with Charlie. I feel empty. That's Stu Williams, who's having an existential crisis that they're not on the same page tonight. Ashley Green, rest him. We have a better player for wanting to win the derby more. Playing him has a risk of him not being there. Play him, win, and take whatever comes of it. We might get all the good things. You never know. Here we go, Charlie. Chef Can, the legend that is Chef Can, has gone Team Charlie. Charlie is Bob on.
Clip that.
Team Beth from Hergle McMurgle. It might only be 3 points, but beating, I think that should be beating that lot would be so sweet. And last one, I'm going to go to Ben. If he gets booked, I'm not worried about Palmer playing infield in the derby. Cheers, Ben.
Weird how you kept that one last there, Stevie. And I tell you what, Charlie, I think you've started a thing, by the way, because Matt Strickland's been on and said Derby-itis.
I've got Derby-itis.
You've got Derby-itis. So
you're all sick with Derby-itis.
You're all sick, I tells you. So there we go. I would still argue that that's about 60-40 in the realm of resting, because this is going to be our big hurrah of the season. Yeah, you know what I mean. Right then. So listen, Ash has sent me a blurb. I've got to say this out loud because I asked him, because I always, when Ash has got like a big thing going on, I always just leave him to it. You know what I mean? He's well invested. He's having a good time. And then I went, I've got to talk about it because Ash is not on this evening. So I've made him write this. So if I look like I'm reading, it's because I am. So this year, ladies and gentlemen, we've got the Easter egg drop 2025. We've only got the 2 dates because the derby got in the way. Shakes fist. So on the 5th of April against Hull City, and on Saturday, the 12th of April against Oxford United. Beth was saying earlier that they're there as well. Sheffield Wednesday fans made last year's Easter egg drop a success, that we're back for 2025. And this year we have a target, and we need you guys to once again smash our targets. We'll be outside the Megastore for the home games against Hull and Oxford, ready for your Easter egg donations. This year, for every donation, you could be in with a chance of winning a £75 voucher for the Megastore. So if you come up and give us your eggs at the Megastore, you write your name, you'll be entered into a draw for a £75 voucher for the Owl Shop in Old Money. Also this year, we would love it if you could set up a donation station at your place of work, and we'd be more than happy to come and pick them up. So Ash is going to get in the car and come and pick them up for you if you set up a donation station. If you want to get involved in that, it's Ash that picks our he's in charge of X, isn't he, is Ash? So if you want to DM us on X and or send us a tweet on there if you want to receive some eggs, Ash is going to drive around all of South Yorkshire and pick them up. So that's nice, isn't it? Beth, remind me again what's happening on the Oxford game for yourselves.
It is Sheffield Wednesday collab with EA Sports and Her Game 2. First-time fans, we are bringing 4, possibly now maybe 8 women to their first ever football match.
Wow. And like I said, we'll double those tickets as well. We'll bash you another 4 if you can. Have you received the tickets? In fact, do you know what? I'll talk about this off air with you if that's all right, because
yeah, go on.
It's weird, isn't it? What else? Now, as side news as well, Stevie, we are stepping into the lion's den. I've been on the internet now for about 15 years, mouthing off like a big gobby northerner should be, right? And this one, all of a sudden, I've become really edgy about it. I don't think I've already started prepping, which, normally I start prepping at 7 p.m. on a Monday night, but I've already started prepping for this one because this Thursday, brace yourself, kids. Oh, God, it's going to be a nightmare. This Thursday, we're teaming up with the SU Way, Sheffield United Way, and we're going to do our Hello from the Other Side, renamed for this one, Hello from T'other Side. We're going to do a live podcast with the Sheffield United podcast, SU Way. Stevie and I are going to be joined. Who's joining us? It's Nick and...
Somebody else.
Sorry, Stevie. I've absolutely thrown you under the bus there.
Caller. Dan, Ash, comment. Ash, put it in the comments, Ash.
So we're going to be joined by two of the other presenters. Ollie.
I'm so sorry.
Right.
I had Hal in my head. because the White Rose Rivals. So.
That's correct. So yes, so Ollie and Nick are going to be joining us live on this show, and they're going to be putting it out on their channels as well. It gives me an opportunity to do a new background and do some fun stuff. And I think it could be fun because the show that you did with Nick back in November, I thought was excellent. Normally we have Hello from the Other Side lasts about 20 minutes. I think that one was 3/4 of an hour, weren't it?
Yeah, it just it's the reason we're doing it is that, isn't it? Because it got some really positive feedback, and Nick, for all his faults being on the wrong end of town, is actually a nice guy, and I think we've got some good chemistry there between us. So if we could make it a bit of a four-way, I don't know if you intended on saying this. If I'm sure we'll be able to put something out there if people have got any talking points, any hot topics or whatever variation of that we're going to come up with on Thursday. If you want us to get after something that is going to be sensible, we're not going to start digging each other out. We just want a nice...
Are we not? Well, hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. I'm just going to refer to my notes across a lot out here.
We're going to keep it all PG, as PG as we can. We won't say fuck or bugger.
I went, oh God almighty, hang on a minute, let me just cross that out as well. There's yes, the comments are going to be a bloody nightmare, and Steve, you can man them, or we'll get
Ash is on. Ash is doing it.
Ash is doing it. Let's do that.
I can't even press a button tonight without putting a bloody blade sign up.
See, it's already started. Look, it's already started. Stokey's been on. If they say sausage roll once, just tell them ham sandwich face and too many players on 40k a week. And then the same old banter. We'll mention honours board and all that. Oh, God, I'm banning all. I'm going to get a list together of banned phrases. And it's going to take...
drinking game for Thursday night.
Say again?
Yes!
Drinking game for Thursday night.
Thursday night drinking.
Oh, God, yeah. Every time it gets mentioned, get some tequilas out. I'll get one of those big, loud graphics that goes, drink. You know what I mean?
Can I find a reason to have Friday morning off?
Yes, you probably can. If your kids do go to school in the South Yorkshire area, Friday's going to be crap. Ladies and gents, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much to everybody joining me. Thanks to Charlie. Thanks to Beth. Congratulations on everything that's happened, Beth. By the way, it sounds like you've had a hell of a day, just receiving good news all day. Thanks to you, Stevie, for the IT masterclass that we've shown this evening. We've absolutely nailed it. See you later.
Every week, live from 8 p.m. It's the Wednesday week, bringing you football analysis.
He came in. I think he scored a goal.
Bringing you banter.
Yeah.
Bringing you responsible life hacks.
Met you wonderful souls at 10 a.m. for some shots.
The Wednesday week. 1, 2, 3, 4 live. Available on all social medias.
Obviously, this goes out on YouTube and as well as all the other social media out there for podcasts, etc.
The Wednesday week 24-25 season. Join us.
Put on your podcast.